Tell us how you've written today that Georgia is going to be different than the other cases. How is that?
Yeah, well, beyond what we've been talking about on your show all morning, Joe and Mika, the cameras, the potential for a mugshot being booked in a jail, that's extraordinary for a former president, right?
Yeah.
But I've been talking to lawyers who point out that a couple different ways this is going to be different. One is that this is the most comprehensive story of the 2020 election we've seen. It's a 98-page indictment, and it aims to tell a story perhaps that Jack Smith can't. I talked to one former federal prosecutor who described the January 6th indictment as cliff notes of what happened, and this as, quote, encyclopedic. And it's going to do that in a couple different ways. When you read the indictment, it's going to try to hold other people accountable, because as one legal expert told me, Donald Trump can't do this on his own. He couldn't have done this on his own. So there's, as we talked about, 18 other co-defendants. And then I think it's really interesting how the indictment does focus on the attack of election workers doing their jobs. I talked to one lawyer who said this is the story of real people. So when this goes to trial, when there's cameras in the courtroom, we're going to hear real people and their lives being affected by this, much as we did with January 6th. But I want to point out one way I've heard that this trial could be different than Jack Smith's in a way that might bode to Trump's favor. I talked to someone close to this investigation in Georgia who said this person was in the grand jury room waiting for witnesses at the witness room outside before they went in for to testify to the grand jury, and said it just felt amateurish, Mika. It felt like people were tweeting, you know, I'm on my way, or I'm about to go testify. They were talking to each other, and grand juries are supposed to be super secret. And so this person was hypothesizing that with such a huge case, it's going to be tough to wrap this all together into a nice and neat trial. And then you add on the potential amateurness of this. It could take years to litigate this.
Wow. The Washington Post, Amber Phillips, thank you so much for your reporting on this. It does. I think we're still getting our arms around in this conversation the mountain that Donald Trump faces legally. And we're so used to seeing him, you know, treat America, the presidency, his post-presidency, his power like a New York Post headline. Right. And yet, I think when you talk about the walls closing in on this former president, it's not just the walls closing in. It's going to get real as he goes to trial.
Well, it already has. And we talk about gravity returning. I talked about Alex Jones, and you say, oh, my God, somebody can say that about parents of children who got slaughtered? Well, no, it ends up they can't. No. You know, the things that were said, lying about companies, voting machine companies, are like, wow, can people really say that and get away? Ends up they can't. I remember us all looking horrified, people using American flags to brutalize and abuse and beat up and use bear spray on police officers. And you're like, what country are we living in? Well, we're living in a country where if you do that, you spend a lot of time in jail. And so, Jonathan Lemire, gravity is returning. We're seeing it with Donald Trump in these indictments. And I suspect, I believe, as Mehdi said, the weight of this is falling on him right now. And maybe nobody mentions a plea deal to him because of just that incredible insight that John gave us earlier. But he's got to be thinking, listen,
how do I get out of this?
Guy's smart enough on a gut level to know he's cornered legally. He's cornered.
Yeah, and then the fear is so evident in his social media posts. The all-caps screed continuing overnight. We've got some more this morning, and and people close to him, they say, well, their only way out of this is to win. And that's why the campaign continues, though we've been going through all morning about suggesting the poll numbers say that while he's doing okay with Republicans, that could be a very different story next year. John Sale, I want to go back to you, though, because you said something that grabbed me a few minutes ago when you were listing the trials that Trump is facing, and you focused on the Jack Smith's federal election interference case, the one here in Washington, and you said that one's for trial, that could be put on for trial. Tell us really what you mean by that in terms of speed. Like, when do you think that could get up and going, and does that also mean that's one where you could see evidence where you think there's a conviction likely?
Well, the prosecutors should talk to each other. They should not compete with each other, which concerns me. But it's a single defendant case. And that case can go to trial because although the discovery is voluminous, we're not living in the 19th century where we're going to have a brim over my eyes if I'm the lawyer and I'm working with a quill pen. I mean, we have platforms that we upload data into, and we have search terms. So he's entitled to effective assistance of counsel. So he needs time. But 6 months, there's no reason that case could not be tried in 6 months. And the judges can talk to each other because now all these trial dates are overlapping. But that case, because it's one defendant, I think that's the reason that the 6 unindicted co-conspirators weren't charged. So the case could go to trial. And he's entitled to a fair trial. He's entitled to the presumption of innocence. But I'm also concerned that the rule of law is on trial. And the rule of law also is entitled to a fair trial. So that way, the story, although it won't be televised, but that case is ready to go to trial. So is the documents case in Florida, where I live.
Yeah, Mehdi, we've been showing polls all morning to go from the law to politics that show independents are starting to break dramatically against Donald Trump. What are your insights there?
So I think the polling has been fascinating this week. Very bad for Trump. You're looking at the Fox News poll right there. 62% of independents say he did something illegal. You've got the ABC News poll out today showing a majority of independents think this indictment in Georgia is a serious thing. And then you throw in, for example, the AP poll this week, Joe, which shows I think 53% of voters say they will definitely not vote for Trump. Another 11% say they probably won't vote for Trump. That's 64% of Americans saying right now, over a year out, they're not going to vote for Donald Trump. And I think Donnie made a good point earlier when he talked about people in Phoenix and Atlanta and people in the suburbs and the swing voters. Why would they look at any of these trials and say, oh, yeah, I didn't vote for Trump last time, but I'll definitely vote for him this time? And where is the person who didn't vote for Donald Trump in 2020 who says in 24, yeah, he's my guy? And in fact, Semaphore has some great polling today as well from the Benenson Group, which shows not just independents are 60% less likely to vote for Trump as a result of the Georgia indictment, but Republicans, 24% of Republicans say in the general, it makes them less likely to vote for Trump. And we keep saying, well, it's not hurting him with Republicans. And overall, that's true. But in a close election, even a small number of Republicans saying, we are fed up with this guy. That could be the tipping point for Joe Biden.
It has taken a long time for people to get fed up with Trump on a grand scale, for Trump supporters to start turning. But if Dan could put up all those legal challenges that Donald Trump is faces, I think it was 6. I was trying to count them, including Stormy Daniels, tax fraud, defamation. Every single one of those are serious. I know some people think the hush money case is not serious. If any other president was found to have had an affair with a porn star, Stormy Daniels, and then paid to cover it up, I believe that being a campaign finance violation, that would have been possibly eliminating. All of these are serious, and if you look at them, from the classified documents to election interference to hush money, he admits to what he did. He doesn't deny the affair or the payment. He says the documents were his. He just insists he took them. He took them because they were his. He says he did it. Well, and same with he keeps saying today, the election was stolen. It was not.
The most damning thing is you look at these cases is on the classified documents cases, you have his own words on tape. They've got him on tape where he said, I could have declassified these when I was president. I can't declassify them now. I shouldn't show you this, but hey, look at this. January the 6th. Everybody that's testifying there we're all inside of his White House. We're all part of the, all part of the team that he put together. They were begging him to stop January the 6th. You go to the Georgia election interference case. It is his words. Yep. His words to Georgia's Secretary of State and Georgia's governor, both Trumpers, both Republicans who supported Donald Trump, who just didn't support Donald Trump more than they supported American democracy. You go through all of it, and it's his own words.
Liable of sexual abuse.
And E. Jean Carroll, where he's saying, oh, she's not my type, and then he identifies her as his wife, Marla Maples. So, again, time and time again, It's his own words that get him in trouble. So listen. Again, what John Sell said about Roy Cohn is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great to know, but I will say this. I didn't know Roy Cohn, but I do know this. When it comes to the law, Donald Trump is no Roy Cohn, and if he's thinking he's going to be able to get out of these indictments,
no, Rudy,
no such luck.
All right.